A bunch of silly season updates today, including rumblings about Daulton Wilson's future, who the internet is rooting for to get the Skyline late model seat, what's ahead in the short term for Donny Schatz, and the one sprint car rumor that won't go away. Let's go. It's Tuesday, September 16th. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is DIRTRACKR Daily presented by Kubota Genuine Parts. If you haven't grabbed a subscription to Flow Racing yet this season, or maybe ever, it's a good time to jump in. Coming up this week, they've got midweek high limit action from Lawrenceburg. They've got the late model Knoxville Nationals, then the Four Crown at Eldora, and a lot of other racing. And if you can't get to these races and you want to watch from home, grab a subscription to Flow. You can sign up and help out DIRTRACKR at no additional cost to you by heading over to DIRTRACKR.com/Flow Racing. Signing up means you'll get to watch hundreds of races a year, and that's really just on the dirt side. They've also got a ton of other stuff. I myself have been a paid Flow subscriber for many years now. I'm not even sure going back how many years it is, at least 5 or 6, maybe more. I'll grab a pass at DIRTRACKR.com/Flow Racing, or you can click the link below in the video description or the Flow Racing links at DIRTRACKR.com. Late last week, we got word that Mike Marlar was departing the Skyline Motorsports team, which became kind of our first decent-sized move of this 2025 Dirt Late Model Silly season. Marlar is leaving after about 2 years in the Skyline ride, and the plan is for him to return to a Ronnie Delk-owned car. We don't yet know when this new /old pairing will debut, as Marlar's website shows nothing for his future schedule. As for the Skyline ride, the interwebs clearly rooting for Dallin Murdy to get a shot there. I've seen and heard his name more than any other attached to the open Skyline seat, but there's nothing definitive yet out there about the team's future. I don't know if this is actually like where there's smoke, there's fire type thing, or if this is just people are just really rooting hard for this and maybe hoping to kind of manifest this into existence. Neither Skyline car has raced since the World 100, while Murdy was at the IMCA Super Nationals about 2 weeks ago now, and he did some USRA racing this past weekend. His 15 wins on the season have been spread between stock cars and pro and super late models. Jumping into the Skyline ride, though, would be a significant step up from the racing he's been doing. Murdy with no previous Lucas or World of Outlaws appearances, and he's been a rookie this year on the Malvern Bank East Series. Those Skyline teams, no stranger to full-time touring life and serious pick-and-choose schedules. A lot of folks think Murdy is the real deal and on his way to potential stardom, maybe in a late model. We'll see if he ends up being the guy or if it's somebody else going in that Skyline car. Another late model situation to keep an eye on is Daulton Wilson and his time with JRR Motorsports. The team has been full-time with Lucas all season, but things kind of went sideways for them after Port Royal. They won a North-South 100 prelim at Florence, and they were 23rd in the Topless 100 and 9th and 17th at Port. Just a few days after that, though, Wilson announced via social media his team would miss the Hillbilly 100 weekend at Lernerville, quote, due to circumstances beyond our control. He also didn't race the World 100. Dirt on Dirt has mentioned a few times that JRR was having engine issues and took a pause to get things squared away in that department. Wilson's last completed race was at Screven on September 6th, but that start came in the Big Frog ride. Wilson's social post said they returned to the track with JRR for the late model Knoxville Nationals, and they reiterated that again on September 8th. Big Perm is currently 8th in the Lucas standings, but this 2025 season has been a bit of a step back from 2024. He's finishing in the top 5 and top 10 less often, and his average finish is nearly a position and a half worse than a year ago. Through the summer last season, this team looked like it had turned a corner and that Wilson was going to be a regular up front and on the bigger stages. But things have been up and down since then, and the win at Florence was kind of one of the lone bright spots on the season. His only other super late model win in 2025 was a Northern All-Star score at Brownstown on August 2nd. The chatter out there points to Wilson and JRR going separate ways for 2026. If that happens, I've heard Josh Rice could be a candidate for JRR. And then a rumor I've heard for Wilson and his future could be a move to Wells Motorsports, but we haven't seen that team run since Brandon Overton departed. There was talk that Eric Wells would return to the seat for that team this year as they continue to develop the Infinity chassis, but as far as I can find, I don't think that's happened. As I said last week, though, barring a big surprise, I wouldn't expect many big changes with dirt late model teams and drivers this offseason. I think most of the top names are pretty well set in where they are. One more late model thing to share today. If you want to nerd out over some technical details, check out the 2025 setup guide that Longhorn Chassis has on their website. I ran across this yesterday while looking for some other information. I don't remember seeing this there before. And if you go to their website, mouse over the word late model in the nav bar at longhornchassis.com and you'll see a link to the PDF. And in there, you'll find a bunch of technical drawings. There's actually instructions in here on how to change and what to change on your car, depending on the situation that you're in. But lots of kind of cool things that are kind of listed in here. Lots of cool drawings and measurements and all sorts of things. This is the type of stuff we don't normally get to see, kind of general public that, we're not really privy to, especially on some of those drawings. You can find some late model tech info, if you go kind of YouTube deep dives or if you subscribe to a place like Race Know-How. It can be tough sometimes, though, to get good information easily if you kind of click around the internet. This setup guide certainly won't help you with your family car, but it might give you some insight into your favorite racers' weekend processes. Updating a few sprint car silly season things today as we close out. Sounds like some announcements are coming in the days ahead for a few different situations. One to watch for will be Donny Schatz's plans post-West Coast. We know after this weekend at Tulare, where he's going to race twice more in the Works Limited car with Paul Silva, that Schatz needs a ride for the rest of the World of Outlaws season. He's trying to hang on to 6th place in the series standings, which would guarantee him a $50,000 plus payday come the Outlaw Banquet. Since getting ousted from Tony Stewart Racing, Schatz has driven cars for Big Game, Lunstra, and Works Limited. Going forward, it sounds like the deal he secured is a bit of a new setup, with Schatz getting some help from a sponsor who's been of assistance lately and an existing sprint car team out there. I've been told it's not a second Big Game car and nothing crazy like the Don Kreitz deal with the 69K. After Tulare, the Outlaws have 6 days to get to Millstream for Sheldon Hoddenshield's race, so word should come here soon. Also, looking ahead to 2026, I said not long ago here on the show that there were rumblings going around Schatz could be in a CJB car next year, but don't expect that one to happen. CJB could still see changes, but it's not Schatz. I think we'll have to wait and see what Schatz ends up putting together. I don't have any insight over there, so we'll just kind of wait and see. One more update. It's sounding more and more likely that Gio Scelzi has a future beyond this year with Clauson Marshall. This is a rumor that's kind of been persisting for weeks, and it just keeps popping up. Scelzi's been filling in for the injured Tyler Courtney, and he'll drive the 7BC through the end of the year. Spire Motorsports, which has involvement with CMR, kind of as a sponsor, and they field cup cars and trucks in NASCAR, is supposedly involved in this deal with Scelzi. And one source has told me they've locked down a veteran crew chief. That one came into my inbox today. The 7BC trying to keep pace in the owner standings with High Limit, but just 4 top 10s in their last 10 High Limit starts has seen them fall 108 points behind Rico Abreu's team, but stay tuned on silly season stuff. That's the show for today. Remember, when it comes to tuning into the daily, you have a lot of options for where to find these episodes. They're available on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and video form. You can also listen via Spotify, YouTube's podcast feature, and all major podcast platforms. That includes Apple and iHeartRadio. So if you're home, if you're on your cell phone, you can watch. If you're riding around in the car, you can certainly listen. You can also read the show over at DIRTRACKR.com/daily. Full show transcripts posted there each day. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday out there. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.